Christina with the Lafayette Public Library, and today we're going to be doing some science. We're going to do an experiment to learn how Arctic animals stay warm in that cold, cold Arctic water. Now, before we begin, let's find the Arctic regions on the globe. So up north, you have the Arctic, which is where you'd find animals like polar bears and seals and walruses and whales. And then on the opposite end of the globe, you have the Antarctic. And this is where penguins live. And you might also find some whales and some seals down here too. Now, these areas receive no direct sunlight, which means they are very cold. In fact, these waters are some of the coldest waters in the entire world. And if I or you or your pet dog or your cat were to jump into this water, we'd have to come right back out because it's just too cold. But then, if it's so cold, how do animals like polar bears and penguins swim in it? The answer is something called blubber. Blubber is a kind of fat, kind of like what you and I have, except it's much, much thicker. It can be anywhere from a few inches thick to an entire foot thick, depending on the animal. And it acts as an insulator, which means it keeps the warm in and the cold out. Now, even though you and I don't have blubber, we can use something else to see how it works. That's the experiment we're going to be doing today. For this experiment, you'll need a bowl of cold water, some ice, 2 Ziploc bags that are large enough to fit your hands, and some blubber. Just kidding. You can't exactly find blubber at the grocery store, so we're going to use vegetable shortening instead. This is a kind of cooking fat, and it works in a similar way as blubber, so it's a good substitute. All right, now our first step is to fill one of the Ziploc bags with shortening. So grab a spoon, I forgot to mention it, but you will need a spoon, and go ahead and start scooping some shortening into your bag. And now you're going to take your other bag, put your hand inside this bag, and then put it inside your blubber bag. And now you're going to use this hand to spread out that shortening. And it would really help, I think, to have an adult do this part. Okay, my hand is pretty much covered here. I've got a nice thick layer of fat to protect it. And remember, my hand is actually in another bag, so it's not getting greasy. I've basically just made a little pocket for it. So now we can test it out and see how it works. Okay, so I have my cold water and I'm gonna add some ice to make it even more cold. While the water's cooling down, let's make a hypothesis or a guess on what would happen if I add my bare hand and my blubber hand to the water at the same time. I think my bare hand is gonna get really cold and my blubber hand will not. What do you think? Do you agree? Well, let's test it out and see. Okay, I've got my blubber hand, I've got my bare hand, and on the count of 3, I'm gonna add it to the water at the same time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Wow, oh my goodness. My bare hand is very, very cold. Oh my goodness. And my blubber hand is just in here chilling. I cannot feel anything with my blubber hand, but ooh, my bare hand is really, really cold. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to keep it in here because it's so cold. But yeah, my blubber hand, I think I could probably keep it in here all day long and be perfectly content, just like a polar bear. Whew, okay, that's enough. All right, friends, let's recap. This vegetable shortening is a fat and it acts as an insulator. It kept my body heat in while also keeping the cold out. And that is exactly how blubber works. Blubber is what helps animals survive in that cold, cold Arctic water. Thank you for joining us today. I had a lot of fun experimenting with you. And don't forget, we post new videos every single week. We've got activities for all ages. So if you want to keep up with what's going on, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.